Hi, this is Rainbow Abegg. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, I'm really happy to spend some time with you, and if you're returning, thank you for your support. I wanted to touch on a topic that I think applies to all of us. I don't know anybody that hasn't been wounded by life, and I don't know anybody that probably hasn't been part of the wounding of somebody else. And so one of the topics that I think is part of the spiritual path and really being able to build the best life for yourself is learning about forgiveness. So I've been studying a book by Colin Tipping called Radical Forgiveness. You can tell I have all my little bookmarks in it and things like that. He actually has a 13-step process in this book, and he has his own spiritual perspective on the things that actually even need to be forgiven. So we're going to tackle that topic, and I'll give you a few tips today. So I'd recommend this book as a read because it actually has a process that will help you to gain some understanding on anything that's holding you up in your life. Now, a lot of times we are holding on to pieces of the past. The past is already gone. What we have is today. Every day we can actually create healing for ourselves. So I want you to think of the one situation that you're holding on to, maybe the biggest. And I want you to be able to take some notes on yourself. If you get the book, Radical Forgiveness, you'll actually be able to go through his process. I'm going to teach you some things that have helped for me. I really like his process. It's very in-depth, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a shorter take on it as well. So the first thing is I want you to identify where you find your pain barrier. Everybody goes through different levels of abuse and traumas and circumstances. Most people have a hard time taking responsibility for either what's been done to them or what they created. So a lot of times those lines are very blurred. That's where I think blame is constantly bringing you back into your own trouble, bringing you back into your own pain within your own heart. So to be able to free yourself, it's showing up today to say, I want to take responsibility for my pain. It may not be the actions that someone else created, but what is the pain that you feel? What do you identify? Because within that will be the seeds of a story. Once you have the seeds of your story, so you're just going to take a few notes on yourself, that's going to help you know where your pain is trying to grow. It's like a garden. Whatever you plant is going to grow. A lot of people want justice. They want whatever they think was the problem to be fixed. And let's face it, there's a lot of times the people that have even hurt us have died, they've moved on, they're in a different place. I've never found that you actually need to deal with that person or the situation to be able to get it out of your system, to get the forgiveness going. Forgiveness is for yourself. Forgiveness is for your own quality of life. Forgiveness is very much you choosing the light that's within you and being able to let go and not taking on the pain of other people. That doesn't mean you can't say you're sorry, or we've all done things that we wished we could change, but the past is done. That energy is already spent, so to speak. And so knowing, okay, this is what I'm holding on to, that's going to be a critical starting point for you. So an example might be, my dad left me when I was a little girl. And now I have a core belief that men always leave me, that I can't have a sustained relationship. And so then we can create self-sabotage around those core beliefs. When you identify, this is my core pain, is I don't trust in relationships, people are not trustworthy, men leave, then you know that's where your pain is. Now you've identified a core belief. So what do you do with the core belief? Now you have the seeds of the story. You'll be able to start knowing more information on yourself. So forgiveness is really about self-insight. It's looking within so that you can let go of what is without. As long as you are holding without, then that is always going to have that ability to consume you. You're not going to have the peace in your life. You're not going to have the way to move forward because all you're doing is looking in the rearview mirror. So once you have the seeds of the story and you want to create a different angle for your life, it is going to help you to know what pain you're trying to let go of. So if it's abandonment, How do you let go of abandonment? Well, a great thing is gratitude. Start realistically looking for the facts. Who really stays in your life? Where do you have something solid? Where can you build more solid relationships? If there's anything you feel you need to apologize for, great, you can do that. You don't have any control if anybody will accept that. So these are the things that you do to make your life better. The more you improve your life, the better quality you're going to have in your life and the more light you have to shine. So do what you need to do to feel great, which might mean you write a letter. You write a letter to that past pain. What does that mean to you? What do you identify? But you're no longer claiming it as my current story and how it's always going to be. You'll never find peace as long as you're living in the past. So you're doing this deeper, insightful work on yourself. Now I know my story. Now I've been able to write it down. And letting go can be a process, but the one thing I would encourage you to do is to look for what are the seeds of the story telling you about life, and is it making your life better or is it creating more shadow for you? It's going to be light or it's going to be shadow. So as you're constructing a new belief system, I now believe people show up for me. I now believe men can be true. I now believe that I can have the stability in my life. You start putting your attention on that. Now your energy starts to flow in that direction. Believing also that there is a purpose in your life. There's a purpose in the experience, things you've experienced. It's your job to create for yourself the strength out of your own story. Start looking for how even the things that have hurt you or the awful people that you're judging, how are they going to help you develop the best character that you get to keep that part of it. That's your new story. This is your new character. We can always take what has hurt us and turn it into a strength. As you create a new storyboard for your life, you're literally creating an intention to live and to walk solidly in a path of letting go. You're calling in new, fresh, vital energy, but you're also letting go of the past. You will be able to tap into more opportunities, new belief systems. Things will start moving more smoothly because you are actually a believer. You are participating in forward movement. I have literally had days when I just, all day long, I say, sometimes out loud, I forgive you, I forgive you. I think of different situations or people and just put out forgiveness. And there's times I've had days where I realize that I feel like I need the forgiveness. And when things come up, I forgive myself on that. And I think that's a big part of radical forgiveness, is learning to forgive ourselves. To be able to know that maybe if we haven't always created great actions, that we can be the best version of ourselves today. You're always going to be able to make the world a better place by being the best version of yourself. And that probably is going to take you forgiving yourself and finding the great strength within. So again, Radical Forgiveness is a great book. It's much more in depth. It has a spiritual principle base that ultimately there is nothing to be forgiven, because every person, every situation that shows up in your life is meant to bless you. That this higher power that watches over us has wisdom in the challenges that we face and our betrayers or the different parts that we play. And ultimately, what's really amazing is as we do the work of forgiveness, our own energy really shifts. We become new creatures. We become different. And ultimately, that brings peace. And that will bring you a new chance at life. Not forgiving someone locks you down. It doesn't hold the other person back. So do this for yourself. Live the best quality life that you can by forgiving yourself and forgiving everyone. Be the light and the love that's in the world, and you will find peace within that. Can be a daily practice, and I know many of us have gone through really very destructive things. So I'm not saying it's an easy process, but here's a tool to help. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe, and share. And if you have a positive comment, we'd love to hear that too, because we're trying to build a positive base here so that we can all grow together. Have a forgivable day. Thank you. Blessings.